Wait for a few people to get in here so we can continue. So we can live stream. Sorry, had to go set up a tripod because somebody was complaining I didn't have it on a tripod. Which should get a few people back in here. Live stream, just chilling the night. It is a Wednesday night, February, May 13th, 2026. I want to buy. If there's any questions you want to ask me, put it in the chat. I'll answer them. If there's when we get a few people in here, how's everybody's year going so far? I've had a few. This year for me, it's been hit and miss, is here and there. Sorry it took me a little bit to get it set all up again. But wait for a few people to get back in here, and then we'll chat it up. I want to thank everyone who has been joining my live streams every time I go live. I'm glad for anybody who enjoys them. I enjoy doing them. I like talking to you guys. Get your guys' opinion about wrestling or anything else, any other topic that I discuss. If you guys were not here last night for W2K26 Weekly Tower 13, go check that out in the when I live streamed last night. Preston, what's up? I live streamed last night WWE2K26 Weekly Tower 13. That live stream is in on my channel in the live stream section. So if you want to go check that out, if you missed that last night, I know I had a couple people in the room last night for it. If you guys missed that last night, go check that out. If you guys like to see me play WWE2K26, and if you want to see more WWE 2K26 live streams, let me know and we will do some. So it's just up to you if you guys like them or not. If you guys like them, then I'll do more of them. If you guys are really not, if you guys really don't, want to see them, then I won't do them. But if you guys like to see them, I'll do them. That's just, I like to, yeah, it is my channel, and of course I'll film and do anything that I want on here, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys want to specifically see on my channel? If there's a topic you want me to discuss, if there is, a certain company you want me to talk about. Jennifer, what's up? If there was if just anything, it could be wrestling related, it can be music related, it can be anything. Joe Mac, did you get the box? What do you mean by that? What box? Were you live? Right here in my bedroom. Do you mean like where I'm from, or like can you explain that more? Joe Mac, what box are you talking about? I don't understand. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're talking about. What box? What about the box? What box are you talking about? Man, if you're just playing around, just say something because I don't understand what you mean. What's up, Willbag? What's up? Yeah, what box? I don't know what box you're talking about, Joe. I don't understand what you mean. What I don't understand what you guys are saying. What box? I didn't get no box. I don't know what box you're talking about. I've gotten boxes, like I've had boxes of stuff before. I don't. Your grandma does backflips. Well, let's hope she doesn't break her whole neck. He has a box. That's what I'm saying. Are we talking to me? Who are you talking? You guys, I swear. Is it like an inside joke that I'm supposed to get? Because I'm not getting it. I don't get a box for what? Jada Lopez, what's up? She is good at backflips. Well, that's good. That's a cool talent. Doing backflips as an old person. That's unheard of. You found it. You found the a gift. Okay, Joe. It sounds like you're just fucking around. Who? Okay, y'all are confusing the absolute fuck out of me. Yeah, thanks, Jen. Yeah, quit worrying me. What the hell are you talking about? I've had boxes of stuff. I've gotten boxes. Okay, y'all are just trolling at this point. I don't know what box he's talking about either. Are you talking about a box like I don't understand what y'all are fucking referring to here. 2K26. What about it? Okay. Shot smell. You happy? Jennifer's box. Don't talk about Jennifer like that. She ain't doing that to you. Like, is there a box on 2K26 that I'm supposed to get or something? Do you play Pokemon? No, I don't. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. They about to get banned if they don't knock this shit off. We're here to talk about professional wrestling or anything else, not that. If you got a question, ask a fucking real question. If you don't got a question, I'll get the fuck off the live stream. I'm not I'm not playing games. To the actual people who want to ask actual questions and want to talk about actual wrestling, thank you, and you can stay. But if you're just gonna fucking sit here and fucking, ask stupid questions that I don't understand, get the fuck out of here. Because I want to be asked wrestling questions, questions about music, questions about, if I have a certain item or not. I'm not. So we're just gonna ignore those fucking questions from now on. I've never heard of him, man. No, I have not heard of shot smell or shat smell or whatever the fuck you're trying to say. Never heard of him, and I don't care to know him. If I don't know you, I ain't talking about you. So Jennifer, thank you for being an actual viewer instead of fucking morons over here. You know, the guy, people who actually enjoy these live streams, guys like Horror Fanatic, Jennifer, Tommy from Wrestling Rampage, my grandma Tammy who joins every now and then. Those who I do this for. People who just y'all just who just want to sit here and just ask dumb questions I don't understand. I don't have time for y'all. Favorite WWE game? SmackDown versus Raw 2007. I'll have to go with that one. Why am I so mad? Why am I so mad? Because people ask dumb questions, and people ask dumb questions. I give dumb answers back. I don't know who the fuck Pearl's treats are. You can, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. All right. You talk about shat smell all the time. You must like sniffing shit, bro. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. I'm not. No, I don't know who Shat Smell is. If he's a wrestler, that's fine and dandy. I don't know who he is. He's probably some dumb comedy wrestler anyway. Good. Okay. Yeah, I know. People ask dumb fucking questions. I'm not listening to it. So, ask real questions, wrestling questions. It could be a personal question. I don't care. Just not something stupid. And for y'all hearing sound back there, that's mice because I live in a trailer because I'm trailer trash. So, we can't all have fancy houses. And plus, I live out in the middle of fucking nowhere. So, what do you expect, right? And if you wanna sit there and judge me for living in a trailer. If you wanna sit there and judge me for being trailer trash, I really don't. I really couldn't give a shit, honestly. Uh, no, I never had that. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Okay, if y'all ask one more fucking question about shat smell, you're getting fucking removed. All right, I'm done talking about shat smell. Whoever the fuck he is. I don't know who you are. Ignore ignore those sounds. Mansfield, Louisiana. That's cool. I live in Missouri. I'm not gonna get. Not gonna tell you where, but nothing against you, Jennifer. I'm just saying. No, I have not heard of that. What is it? Enlighten me. I'd like to know. Okay. That's taken care of. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Is it like some restaurant or something? Because I've never heard of it. If you'd like to tell me what it is, I'd love to know. Yeah, so hopefully we got rid of those people who are asking who Shat Smell is. I don't know who the fuck that even is and don't care to know him. So I don't understand what you're trying to say here. You have tours next week. What tour? I don't understand what you're trying to say. I don't know what you're talking about. You bet my room smells like farts. Well, I don't smell nothing. And I bet your room smells like fucking dirty cum socks. So there you go. Yep. Goodbye, buddy. Emotional support. I don't need emotional support. If anybody else needs emotional support, sorry for them, but I don't need it. Can I get some wrestling questions? That's what I'm used to answering here. I'm not used to answering because most of these questions I don't understand. Nothing against you guys, but no, I'm not singing Elvis. It ain't happening. I'm not a singer. I don't sing. Yeah, I don't sing. I don't sing at all. I don't listen to Elvis. My grandma used to, but I don't listen to it. I don't listen to him. Never really was an Elvis fan. I'm not really into that. Not really that kind of music he put out. You do you. So I mean, glad just I don't go by pronouns. I don't do that shit. If you want to know what my pronouns are, me. That's my pronoun. Me. Him. That's my fucking pronoun. I'm a regular fucking person. Horror fanatic. What's up, man? You're like the first. You're like the first. You're like the first one of my actual viewers that actually wants to come on here and be civil. I've been getting questions about some wrestler named Shat Smell, and I've had to hide a few people from this channel, and I hid him from this channel. Yeah, I don't have time for dumb fucks like that. Yeah, horror fanatic, what's up, man? See, I do this for people like him who actually want to come on here and ask me actual wrestling questions and actual questions instead of asking some dumb fucking question. And if you haven't already, Horror Fanatic has a YouTube channel, so go check him out. Have I been? I've been alright. You know, normal. Normal me. Been having doing lives I don't do lives every day, Sometimes I just don't feel like doing it. What about me? What do you mean? What about you? I don't. Aquinas, is that your name? I don't. I don't. Not a very good reader. I'm not a reading person. That's good, man. That's what I love to hear. Yeah. So everybody in the chat, go subscribe. Go subscribe to Horror Fanatic on YouTube. Great work. See, I do this. I do this for people like him. I do it for people like Horror Fanatic. I don't do it for dumb fucks. You think you got banned? I didn't ban you, man. I didn't ban you. I only deleted the people who were asking stupid questions. Now you good. Yeah, just like usual, questions, just put them in the chat and I'll answer them. Any topics to discuss, I'll discuss them. Probably not going to be here not going to be here very, very long tonight, like it was the other night, but SummerSlam 2025 last year, MetLife, good experience. I'm glad you had fun. You might not believe this or not, I've never been to a WWE show. Can you believe that? I've never been to one. I've never been I've never been to a WWE show. I've never been to an AEW show. Never been to a TNA show, Ring of Honor show, New Japan. Never been to any of that. Cause I'm a broke motherfucker. So I can just watch it at home. Just can't get the best experience from there. But yeah, that was a huge shock. I was surprised. Bro, I wasn't expecting Brock's return because the whole stuff with the Janelle Grant stuff that went on. I wasn't expecting him to ever return. Like honestly, until all that stuff was ever got cleared up. But I'll be honest, it was good seeing Brock Lesnar back. You can definitely feel that his presence was very missed. Because Brock's got extremely big star power, and he is a big star. What's up, Jessica? We're talking about Brock Lesnar right now. Um, this live motivates you. It's good to hear that. Yeah, it was. It makes you kind of sad in a way that Brock Lesnar's retired now. Because every legend's been retiring. You had Cena, then you had Styles, then you had Goldberg, then you had Lesnar. And it's like everybody's retiring now. It's really sad to see some of these people go because they're big draws. Only went tonight. Yeah. Sometimes I hate 2 night events. I just can't do it. Like I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. I'm not really wrestling is just not for me sometimes. It is right. You know, like I said last live stream. Guys like Randy Orton and guys like Rey Mysterio. All these guys are gonna be gone soon. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. And then not long after that, guys like CM Punk and guys like Roman and Rollins Roman and Rollins are not going to be wrestling hardly anymore. And it's going to be relied on guys like Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed to carry what those guys left behind, and it sucks. All respect to Braun Breaker and Obafemi and all those guys and girls that are the future of the company, but it's gonna suck seeing guys like Roman. I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan, but he is a draw. I will say that. But I'm not a big Roman Reigns fan because I talked about it the last live stream. Nowadays, he's just boring. Eating I wouldn't recommend eating hand sanitizer, Jessica. Um, I have not ate hand sanitizer. Can't replicate what Cena, Orton, and Lesnar did. Yeah, that's true. Because those guys are legends now, and it's gonna suck seeing those guys. It sucks seeing Cena and Lesnar go, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck when Orton goes because you're not gonna have that. Not gonna have that legend. That legend figure on TV anymore. You're gonna be seeing a bunch of these new faces, and I hate to say it, but guys like Logan Paul are gonna be responsible for carrying this company into the future. So yep. Why do you think I don't have too many friends? Because I don't. People are. Uh, I think Kurt Cobain said it best. People are overrated, or whatever Kurt said. People are. If you heard that song "All Apologies" by Nirvana, everyone is gay. Yeah, that's how I feel. Sorry, Miguel. Who's Miguel? Miguel Breen. I don't know who that is. Sorry. Uh, yeah, I think after what was that? Yeah, I have to agree because I feel like Randy Orton is, well, other than Rollins and Roman, I feel like in the next even Cody Rhodes has said it. Here before too long, Cody Rhodes is gonna be done too. Um, guy guys like Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton, they're gonna be gone soon, and it's very sad to say. I have to say. No, I have not heard of Chicago versus Edit. Triple H is underutilizing Randy. Yes, he is. Randy has been on TV since WrestleMania, and it kind of sucks for him going to punt Cody after the match to him, not being there. And we've seen it before. Some people have done certain things in a rivalry, and they just leave TV and not appear on TV for a while, but they end up coming back for a shock value, just to get the just to have the fans remember. Oh wait, we forgot he left for a little bit. So yeah, Triple H is underutilizing Randy. Putting him at Pat McAfee uh, was crap. Should have never happened. WWE pay per views that need to come back. Great question. There's a lot actually. Um, I miss events like TLC because you knew you were gonna get TLC level style matches during the year at some point, and you hardly see TLC matches at all because the pay per view's not there no more. It's like I don't. It's like I don't remember when the last time there was a TLC match. Honestly, um, Unforgiven and Armageddon were really could really bring those back for nostalgia purposes. Um, I'd like to see like a Cyber Sunday return. That'd be awesome. You know, us getting to vote. Match types and certain storylines and certain competitors enter in a match. Certain titles being defended. Yeah, it's that. Um, No Mercy is a good one. Um, and it was only a one a one show, but I think it could be really cool to see like one night only return or something like that. Do you like Taboo Tuesday or Cyber Sunday better? Um, I like Taboo Tuesday better because I feel like the name fit with it. Because you never because it was very rare that rare that there was a pay per view on a weekday. Judgment Day, yes, that's Judgment Day would be a very good. I only accept the Judgment Day pay per view if is if they get rid of the Judgment Day stable and just like bring Judgment Day back as an event because the Judgment Day now is stale. Since Balor's out of it, Priest is out of it, Rhea's out of it. It it's there's just no point for the Judgment Day anymore. Now I understand if you want to keep Liv and Dom together. I understand that. Go ahead and keep them together, and like Raquel can be like their muscle, but like take Roxanne out of that group and have her be a single star. Um, Now if they just want to do like a trio with trio, or if they want to break Raquel free too, make Roxanne and Raquel can go on to being back to single stars, and you can just have Liv and Dom. You know, if Dom's got a match, Liv's in his corner. If Liv's have a match, Dom's in her corner. I think that would fit better. Get rid of the Judgment Day altogether, and just bring it back as a pay per view. Armageddon, yeah, it gave you an end of the year, a good end of the year vibe to it. I really like that. You got Armageddon in December, and then you hype up for the Royal Rumble. That's what I miss. So yeah, Armageddon, Armageddon. You know, No Mercy. I know they do No Mercy for NXT, but it's not the same, honestly. Yeah, so those are some of the pay per views that I really would like to see come back. Favorite feud of 2005. That's a tough one. There's so many great feuds. Um, you could say, for instance, Triple H and Batista, Ray and Eddie. But for me, I'd have to say it's kind of a tough one. Orton and Taker was phenomenal. I like that one. Um, Batista and JBL was a good little feud that they had going. Um, uh, that's a tough one. Favorite feud 2005. It ain't Animal and Heidenreich versus Eminem. That's for sure. That was garbage. But for me, I would probably have to say that's a tough one. You gave a tough question there. It was a short. I'll give you two feuds. Two of my favorite feuds in 2005. They're both underrated feuds, and they may have been short feuds, but the matches that they had were awesome. That would be Shawn Michaels and Edge. They had a great Royal Rumble match. They had a great street fight on Raw. They're a little back and forth. It was really short, but I really liked it. That's one of my favorites, and I'd also have to say Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. Phenomenal matches. WrestleMania 21, Vengeance, the Iron Man match on Raw Homecoming. Yeah, Edge and Matt Hardy, you could say. But yeah, if I had to say Michaels and Edge and Michaels and Angle, I'd have to I'd have to say that. And probably close third would be Orton and Taker. Yeah. But I'd have the Orton Taker feud. The only match I really didn't like was the No Mercy handicap casket match. That's the only match in their feud I didn't like. The WrestleMania match was great. Their SummerSlam match was good. Their Hell in a Cell match in Armageddon was phenomenal. They had a couple matches on SmackDown, so yeah. Your top five all time Hell in a Cell match. Damn, put you're throwing tough ones at me, horror fanatic. I like it. Um, Damn. There were so many phenomenal Hell in a Cell matches. I'd have to say one. Orton and Taker would probably be one. Hold on a minute. Shotsman's coming to this live stream. We're just gonna fucking ignore him. You know, I. I'm just gonna ignore his comments. So yeah, Taker and Orton probably number 5. 4, damn, that's hard. Number 4, damn. I probably would have to go with damn, this is tough. You putting tough ones in front of me because there's a bunch of good ones. Taker and Mankind was just broke ground with the Hell in a Cell. Like this match just you do not want to be put in that match. When you seen that match, you're like, God, I hope they don't put my favorite wrestler in this. Another Hell in a Cell match that was really good. Damn. Triple H and Batista was a pretty good one. That'll probably number 3. Number 2. Number 2, huh? John Cena versus Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell in 2014 was good. I'd put that at number 2. Number 1 would probably be Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, the first one. Kane making his debut was awesome. So, yeah. That's my top 5 right there, probably. There's a whole bunch of other good ones also. Hell in a Cell is with the PG era bloodshed. Yes, agree. If there's a cage match, you need to have blood. If it's just a regular steel cage match, if it's a Hell in a Cell match, or Elimination Chamber, you gotta have blood. That's you just gotta have it. They feel so incomplete without it. Here and there, you'll get blood in it, like Punk and McIntyre. You got blood in that one. That's another really good one, a really underrated one. Yeah, I missed the whole Hell in a Cell structure too. I'm glad they got rid of the red Hell in a Cell because that was horrendous. That match with the Fiend and Seth Rollins, that was garbage. That ruined Hell in a Cell for me. I feel like. Fan of gimmick pay-per-views, personally wasn't. Some. I like TLC. I liked Extreme Rules. But if for gimmick pay-per-views, my favorite one probably would have to be Extreme Rules. I wish they get rid of Money in the Bank and put it back at WrestleMania. Give WrestleMania like a big fight feel again, and just make one woman one woman's Money in the Bank and one men's Money in the Bank. Yeah, so I probably have to say Extreme Rules, honestly. There's no thought it was a DVD. That was a good DVD. I had it before. I don't have it anymore. It was alright. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked that DVD. Did you ban Aquinas? No, I did not. I did not ban her. Yeah, that Hell in a Cell anthology, I don't have it anymore. I'd most like to get it again one of these days, but yeah, no, I didn't ban her. I didn't. Yeah, I never banned her unless YouTube did it. I don't. Yeah, I didn't ban her. Yeah, so yeah, Hell in a Cell is definitely ruined. Um, could the aura of it be reconstructed? Yeah, it could. It's a really long. We really don't get that many Hell in a Cell matches anymore. Because our recent one was Punk and McIntyre, and that was 2024. And that was like almost 2-3 years ago. And it's the same way with TLC and Extreme Rules matches. We don't hardly get those anymore. It's basically because they got rid of the pay per view of it. Do I like it that they saved it for, feuds that really needed it? Yeah, but they most of them hardly ever do a feud that really needs that type of match. Favorite PG Hell in a Cell match: Taker and Edge, SummerSlam '08, a great match. That probably had to be like the only really great PG Cell match. Like I said, Orton and Cena Hell in a Cell 2014 was okay. Brock and Taker at Hell in a Cell 2015 was good. You had blood in that one. I will say though, Taker and Brock's Hell in a Cell match at No Mercy in 2002 was a fucking amazing. Taker was just fucking drenched in fucking blood. That probably had to be another one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches. Would be Brock and Taker at No Mercy. Yeah, Taker and Edge definitely. I mean, you had a couple good PG era Hell in a Cell matches, like that one, Orton and Cena, Punk and McIntyre. Yeah, yeah, dude. Taker's face was covered. He was covered, dude. The ring mat just covered in blood, dude. It looks like something out of a fucking horror movie is what it looks like. Like when Brock smacked Taker with those fucking steps right dead in the face, and you just see Undertaker just come right up, and just the blood is just dripping down in all different sides of his face. Was like something out of a fucking horror movie, and it was awesome. That's Hell in a Cell to me. That's what a Hell in a Cell match should look like. That's what everybody should inspire what their Hell in a Cell match wants to look like. And I know some people who do Hell in a Cell matches nowadays. They want. I know they want to do blood. They want to live up to that match. But WWE, of course, they won't do that because we don't want to scar the children. But yeah, yeah, the PG era definitely ruined WWE to me. Yeah. That's a great topic. Bloodiest matches, dude. JBL and Eddie Guerrero, Judgment Day '04. Oh my lord. Cena and JBL at Judgment Day '05 was a those two matches right there. Taker and Brock, No Mercy '02. Eddie and JBL at Judgment Day 2004, and JBL and John Cena Last Man Standing match. I Quit match. I Quit match. Judgment Day 2005. Three of the most bloodiest matches in WWE history, and all three matches were fucking phenomenal. Eddie, ugh. I mean, to me, it's not really hard. To me, it's not really hard to watch. Looking back on it, and with Eddie passing, literally a year after, it is hard to look at it because what will go on to happen to Eddie after that match. Really, really sucked. It really was. It was sad. Um, and just the chair shot too, just straight to the face of Eddie Guerrero. Eddie never did put his hands up. Nothing. He never he never blocked that. He took that right in the fucking head. And that just shows what passion Eddie Guerrero had for the business. Is you wonder the passion Eddie had for the business. Go watch that match. Just after this live stream, haven't seen it, go watch it. It is brutal. In hindsight, it's sad because what would go on to happen to him, literally over just a year later. Yeah, he cut an artery. That's Yeah, he did pass out post show. Truly shown what passion he had for the fucking business. Eddie Guerrero lived and breathed that fucking business. And it's just sad to say it. That's what unfortunately put him out was the grind. You know, and well, of course, his past drug use didn't help with his heart at all. But Chavo Guerrero has said in many interviews that Eddie was worn out. He really was. And that just shows what passion, like, he didn't want to leave it. Chavo has said in a recent interview that Eddie was ready to leave for his family at that point. And looking back on it, kind of wish Eddie did. Kind of wish, him and Benoit retired after WrestleMania 20. Retired as champions. That's the greatest WrestleMania moment to me is Eddie and Benoit at the end of WrestleMania 20. That's the end all be all WrestleMania moment. Nowadays it's deleted and no one talks about it, but true fans actually talk about it and actually remember it fondly. They could have. I don't know if it's true. I know it's true for Benoit, but I don't know if it was true for Eddie. I believe Eddie and Benoit were getting ready to, at certain points in their career, they were getting ready to retire. And I think David said it at one point, around the time of the Benoit incident. Benoit was ready to retire and open up his own wrestling school. Looking back on it, I really wish that's how things worked out, because some of the really, really good wrestlers would have came from Benoit's school. And I don't know if it was true or not, but I believe Eddie was gonna open up a wrestling school too and retire. I don't know if that one's true or not. I know the Benoit one is true because David said it before. He did an interview with Chris Van Vliet that that was Chris Benoit's next goal was to open up a wrestling school, retire. That's the same way with Owen Hart. He was ready to retire and open up his own school and train some future wrestlers, get some wrestlers, get some of the new era wrestlers, ready for the big time. But Owen's accident occurred. Eddie passed away due to the stuff with his heart, and the Benoit stuff happened. So, in hindsight, it really makes you look back and wonder what could have been. Yeah, I could have seen that. To me, I could have seen Benoit working behind the scenes at either AEW or WWE. Same with Eddie. I believe at one point they offered Eddie a backstage role. I believe they offered him a backstage role, before he passed away. But he ended up dying, and it just never happened. And I believe they offered Chris behind the scenes too, and the stuff happened, and never happened. But looking back on the Benoit incident, next month is the anniversary of it, and it sucks. It sucks. Because every year at the anniversary, I go back. I watch I watched everything that happened, and I would go back and watch all the news stories. There's a ton of news stories on YouTube of the Benoit stuff. Sometimes I like to go back and look at some of that stuff. Sometimes it gives me chills watching because it's like I was never around. You know, I mean, I was around, but I was just a kid. I was a child. I didn't. Looking back on it, I just couldn't. I couldn't fathom what the fans at that time watching that unfold were going through, because it's it's terrible. It really is. It's really fucking terrible. 4 years, yeah, 4 years old. I probably would have been. I would have been almost a year old at the time of it. I was born in December of '06, and it happened in June of '07, and I would have been that year would have been like a year old. So yeah, Tina started watching matches and really like this style. Yeah, I seen a lot of Benoit's matches, and then I began to read on the Benoit tragedy, and I seen some people some people can separate the person from from the character. I can personally. I know some people can't. Some people just like to sit there and just talk shit on him and call him a murderer and all this other shit. But if you really look at it, his and I'm not gonna start. I don't want to start an whole argument on this or nothing like that because I've been in arguments with it on social media and I'm just tired of it. I mean the way his brain was, he I don't think he was not in his right frame of mind to realize what he was doing. I feel like he did it. I wasn't in the house. I'm not gonna know. So I'm not gonna make assumptions. But um, maybe he wasn't in his right frame of mind, and he snapped and did all that, and then and after he did all of it, he came to realized what he had done, and realized there was no going back from this, and he just ended up taking his own life. So that way he didn't, so that way he didn't have to live with that burden the rest of his life. So yeah, but when people like to go around, they just like to say, "Oh, he's a murderer." New fans of this generation like when they look at their history books and they look at Netflix and they see Benoit and they read about the Benoit tragedy and they read about Benoit and all this other stuff. They just like to jump to, "Oh, he was just this crazed fucking psycho murderer that murdered his fucking son and his fucking wife and fucking killed himself out of cowardliness." You know, that's that's newer fans today. That's what all they talk about is, "Oh, Benoit's a murderer. This Benoit's a murderer. That." None of them really go back and they watch Benoit's matches and Benoit's promos, and and everything that Chris Benoit did in the fucking business. They just want to, new fans don't look at that and they just go off of what people say. Oh, he's just this crazed fucking psycho murderer. But to those people who just want to sit there and just want to say that shit, this is what my end all opinion on it is. You weren't in that house. You don't know what the fuck that you don't know what the fuck happened. You don't you can't don't sit there and make assumptions. The only people that know what the fuck went on in that goddamn house that day was Benoit, his wife, and his son. Those are the only three people that know who and what happened in that fucking house that night was them three. The people who just want to sit there and talk about, oh, he's a murderer of this, murderer of that. You don't know what happened in the fucking house that night. You weren't there. So that's why I don't sit here and I just focus on, the Benoit murder, the murderer Chris Benoit. I look at the wrestler too. I don't just look at the one side of the. I don't look at one side of the door over the other. Is it fucked up? Yes. Is it understandable for people like? Is it understandable for people saying Benoit is in hell for it? But if we really look at it, we don't know if there's a heaven or a hell, so we're not gonna find out until it's time for it's our time to go. So I mean, if you want to say that, but me personally, I don't know what's I don't know if there's a you know if there's a fucking god or if there's a if there's a devil down there that's waiting for you or I mean I don't know that. I ain't gonna find that out until I die, and I hope it's not soon because I don't want to find that out yet. But yeah, people just like to yeah it's And I know some people feel like Benoit didn't do it, or somebody entered the house and made him do it, or you know some people assuming Kevin Sullivan did it just to get revenge for Benoit taking Nancy from him, or or stuff like that. But and I've heard there's some assumptions, people saying Chavo Guerrero did it, or like that. Those people are just fucking retarded. Um, yeah, it sucks. It really does. Yeah, we're talking about Chris Benoit here. Um, yeah, people who just like to shit on Benoit for that stuff. I mean, yeah, it's you know people are gonna say what they want to say, and say what their opinions on it is. But my opinion on it is, I don't know what happened in that fucking house that night. Nobody does else either. Could have there been an intruder and made Benoit do it? There might have been. Could could Chris have just really just done it and just you know was so fucked up in the head he didn't realize what he was doing? That could have happened too. Could could someone have entered the house and done something to Benoit and killed his son and his wife and then forcibly hung Chris? Could that have happened? It could have. Not saying it did. It could have. I'm not gonna sit here make assumptions, but it's one of those things that we would really like to know. We really like to know the reason behind what happened. You know, we really like to know. What really happened. Yeah. Am I gonna sit here, say Chris Benoit's a saint? No. Am I gonna sit here and say that Benoit could control what he was doing and it's not Benoit's fault? No, I'm not gonna say that. Is it hard to watch some of Chris Benoit's matches these days? Yeah, it kind of is. Is it hard to watch some Benoit promos? Because some promos are foreshadowing what happens. Yeah. Um, have I seen the Iron Sheik on Howard Stern? Yes, I've seen it. I love the Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik's fucking amazing. Rest in peace to the Iron Sheik. Was one of the greats. Um, Not a big Howard Stern fan though. I think he's a fucking tool, but I like some of the people that he's interviewed on there. I like some stuff that he's in. I don't pay attention to Howard. I just pay attention to the guests. I really don't pay attention to Howard because I really don't give a. I really I really couldn't care less for Howard Stern, but I'll watch Howard Stern clips of but I don't watch the clips for Howard. I just watch it for the guests. But yeah, um, so no one knows what happened. Some people like to sit there, like to sit there and say that they know what happened, but yeah. So, but yeah. So let's exit the dark side of this. Let me answer some fun questions. What wrestling games do you have on your console? So I have two consoles. I have the PS5 and I have the PlayStation 3. I had a PS2. I don't have one anymore. For the PS2, I have pretty much all the PS2 wrestling games from SmackDown Just Bring It to uh, SmackDown versus Raw 2007. I have 2008, 2010, 2011 on PlayStation 3. I don't like 2009, 10, and 11 on PS2. Um, I just don't like them on. I just don't like them on PS2. Yeah, I don't listen to much Howard Stern either. I think he's a fucking tool. Um, and on PS5, I have all the 2K games. I have 2K. I have 2K14 for PlayStation 3. I have 2Ks. I'm missing a few 2Ks like 2K16 and 17 and 18. I'm missing those three, but I have 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And I'm most likely going to have 2K27 when it comes out next year. Do you like buying games physically or digitally? Um, There's been a couple games I've had digitally, and I like physically because I'm a collector and I like to collect, so I like just have it for my collection. 2K25 I have on disc. 2K26 I have on disc. 2K24 I had digitally. Um, yeah, so I'd say physically because just in case just in case something happens to my system or something like that, I have the disc. So that way I can just easily just pop it in. In your house on PS1. I'm hoping to get a PS1 one of these days and play those old, in your house and SmackDown, the first SmackDown and SmackDown Know Your Role and SmackDown 2. I'm hoping to get a PS1 one of these days and play those, in your house. WrestleMania the arcade game, you know. That's something I really would like to do. So yeah, hopefully one of these days I'm able to get one. And who knows, maybe one of these days when I get one, I'll do some gaming videos and I'll do some videos playing old wrestling games for you guys if you guys want to see that. Favorite WWE game artwork? Ooh, it's a tough one. I probably would have to go. I really like the first SmackDown versus Raw cover with Vince's face and one eye's blue, one eye's red. Raw versus SmackDown. Is it a cover that they could have done more with? Yeah, but I like it because it gave you know it really gave the feeling of SmackDown versus Raw. I think that's a good one. I like 2007's artwork. Um, there's a couple I really don't like. Like nowadays the 2K games, the 2K covers nowadays are kind of just it's kind of copy and paste. Like 2K20's cover with Roman and Becky was crap. Um, 2K24's cover with Cody, I really I thought was really good. Um, I feel like they could have done more with the 2K25 cover with Roman. I feel like more could have been done on there. 2K26 cover with CM Punk. It's good. Once again, could have done more with it, but um, you know, there's some game covers they really could have done better with. Raw on Game Boy was shit. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, those games like Raw and Raw on Game Boy, Raw on Xbox. I I really couldn't care for those because those look shitty. And there's a couple games, WWE All Stars. Um, a lot of people didn't like that game. I thought it was okay. WWE All Stars was all right. I really liked, it was fun here and there. WWE Legends of WrestleMania was fun to me. Everybody else really didn't like it, but I really thought it was really fun to play. Um, yeah. Uh, I don't mind 2K game, but SVR is far better. Agree. Nowadays, do they have better modes? Like I wouldn't say better modes, but some 2K games nowadays. I feel like some modes are a bit of a ripoff. Like My Faction, I think that's fucking garbage. I think that should be taken out. Having to have certain cards, having to play certain matches just to get a Persona card from an attire. You can just get off of Community Creations. I can just find on Community Creations and download it on my game without having to fucking, you know, you know, without having to fucking go through tens of thousands of shit just to fucking get a fucking card. Like for an attire, I can just get off of Community Creations easily, or I can just make myself. But yeah, SVR is far better. Um, the 2K games now are okay, but more can be done with them. Like Universe mode, I feel like could be overhauled tremendously. Um, it's like with Universe mode, every year they take one step forward but another step back. Like this year they added promos back, but that was a forward. And they another forward for this year would be they added show intros back. but they took a step back and they didn't add pyro before the show. I think that should return. That gives your event, a big fight feel, and like an actual, it makes your event, like feel like an actual event. Like this is, this you booked this card, and the show intros I feel like brings like a whole nother level to it. And I feel like instead of just reusing the same pyro for every show, like have like let us like choose like what pyro we want to have for our show, like how they have for create an entrance, how they have you can add pyro to your entrance and all the other stuff. Do something like that. That'd be really awesome. I really love to add my own pyro to my show. It'd be awesome. Another thing is I feel like they should add voiceovers for promos, and they should give us more options for different promo outcomes, stuff like that. That I feel like they could really do. Universe mode could turn out to be the greatest mode ever if they really put a bunch of thought into it. I feel like universe mode can be overhauled and saved tremendously. I feel like so. Hopefully, in 2K27 they give us something like that. I know it's probably just gonna be the same old universe, but hopefully they add longer show intros. Add pyro, add voiceover, add longer show intros or something like that. Yeah. So I feel like that would really overhaul that mode. Really awesome. Even worse is Mortal Kombat game. Worst game ever. I played Mortal Kombat. I played a couple Mortal Kombat games here and there. Not really big into it. I'm mostly just playing, wrestling. But AEW Fight Forever. Don't get me started on that one. Have I played it? Yes. Is it the greatest game ever? Absolutely not. Is it fun here and there? Yeah, it can be. It could be cool. It could be cool here and there. It's definitely it's a game I'll pop on. We don't have nothing else to play, and I just want to fuck around and have you know matches and stuff on it. Yeah, that could be something I really enjoy. Is it better than in the 2K games? No. Would I honestly rather play 2K20 than Fight Forever? Yeah, but 2K20 was garbage, dude. The only thing I really liked on it was the My Rise mode. Everything else everything else about it really sucked, honestly. 16, 17, 24. Oh, I don't have 2K24 either. I just now remember that. Thank you for reminding me of that, Horfanac. Yeah, I don't have that one either. I definitely need to get it. So I have add it to the collection and whatnot. I don't get why people love GM mode so much. I think it's boring, but that's for me. Yeah, GM mode sucks. It's stupid. It's pointless. It doesn't it doesn't add anything to the game at all, honestly. People were complaining for years to have that back, but I just wish they'd get rid of it again. But by looking at it, since Xavier Woods is not there, no longer there, with him no longer being there, I kind of hope they get rid of it. But they probably won't. They'll probably just replace Xavier with somebody else. But I hope they get rid of it in 2K27. They probably won't, but I hope they do. Yeah, GM. It's just. I mean, is it fun to draft? Your own roster. Yeah, that's fun. But to me, and to me, GM mode has always sucked. Honestly, I just like drafting certain superstars to a brand and putting champions as champions, and I just exit out of the mode. To me, that's what I usually do at GM mode. I really don't go really far into GM mode, unless I'm bored and I don't have any other mode to play. 2K26. I bought the ringside pass, so I will get every ringside pass that comes out. I've already completed the AAA. I played the AAA one. I've completed the most recent one, and I'm really looking forward to season 3 coming out next month, with the next DLC pack that comes out. Because if you guys haven't, any WWE gamers out there who play 2K26 and have the ringside pass, they just released yesterday that you can unlock 2001 Kane. You can add WCW Rey Mysterio when he was in the Filthy Animals. They released that you can unlock those in this month and next month's ringside pass, which I'm all for. Which, let's go. Hopefully they keep doing that with the they keep adding, wrestlers like that. I like to see, a lot of wrestlers, added to it. Even, hell, there's some wrestlers I would like to see added in those that, haven't been in a game in a while, or, have never been in a game ever. You know, I'd like to see, I like to see them put wrestlers, like King Kong Bundy. That would be really cool. I think that'd be really fun. Um, I feel like, fuck, add the Giant Gonzalez in there. He's never been in a video game. I think that'd be really fucking cool. Honestly. Best season mode in SVO. What was your favorite storyline? That was for 2007. Ooh. SVO 2007 was a really fucking fun one. I still will go back and play that season mode, Um, the hardest part of it was, you didn't know who you wanted to fucking choose. You didn't know if you wanted to go through all the Raw storylines or if you wanted to go through all the SmackDown storylines. I'll sit there and be like, I'm gonna choose Triple H, but then I'll scroll through and be like, no, I'll choose Shawn Michaels, and then, I'll be like, no, I don't want Shawn Michaels, I want John Cena, and I'll be like, no, not John Cena, I'll do Batista, no, I'll do Undertaker, I'll do Umaga, I'll do RVD, Shelton Benjamin, Ric Flair, Matt Hardy, I'll do Edge, it's really fucking tough to choose who you want to fucking be, who you want to fucking go through with it. Favorite storyline though. Let's say I don't think I would have a favorite, honestly. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the trader, like the trader. Who's the trader on your brand trading to the other show? I like that one. I really like that one. Um, the Magic Wand storyline. Yeah, that was fucking weird. Um, yeah, that was a really weird storyline. That was fucking. It was fun to play. It was fun to play. Candice Pichel turning you into a chick, um, changing your voice. I thought that was that added the level of fun to it. Uh, some other great storylines in those games. In 2006, the Who Ran Down Teddy Long storyline, that was fun. Um, Another fun one in 2006 was when we found out who ran down Teddy Long, and it turns out it was RVD, and then RVD, wrestlers are betraying the WWE and joining RVD and ECW, and RVD sprays the ECW logo on the WWE Championship. That was a really fun one. I really enjoyed that one. Another one, Stone Cold on the Raw storyline, when Stone Cold was the special guest referee for your match at WrestleMania. That was really funny. That was really cool to play through. Um, yeah, so there's a bunch of great storylines in those games that I really loved. So yeah, a lot of ones, you don't, a lot of ones, some of those were just really, really, really fun to play as, and that's what makes the replay value. I really loved, um, I really loved doing stuff like that. Undertaker Benoit story was good too. Yeah, like how people like to take the promo Taker did on Benoit. Uh, Just not the promo word for word, but it's like something. Your family will have nobody to blame but you when the inedible, or whatever the fuck it says. I can't talk right. Inevitable inevitable occurs. That's that's you hear that and you're like, whoa. You're like, that's weird. But yeah, it was a good storyline overall. Some storylines were boring though. I was like the Mark Henry Mr. Kennedy storyline, where you damage Kennedy's voice. That one was boring. I really didn't like that one in SVR 2007. I thought it was really dumb. Like every time I would get it, it's like this one again, and it's sometimes it's the same storylines constantly. You gotta like go through like certain paths to get certain storylines you haven't been through yet, and it really sucks too because you have to go through all those boring storylines just to get to the storyline that you've been waiting to play through again. But yeah, some of the games in season mode had a couple boring storylines that you really didn't care about, but like in 2006, fighting over Tori's contract, that was boring. I really didn't like that one. Having to fight JBL in an Iron Man match for the fucking contract, that was stupid. I really didn't like that. But in the other ones, I really liked them. Hell, even the original SVR had some funny fucking storylines too. Just Undertaker sitting there just holding Trisha's fucking panties in his hand was fucking weird. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Just seeing Undertaker with fucking panties on his hand, it was just weird. But it was fucking hilarious at the same time. So yeah. And the soundtrack of those games really influenced my music taste a little bit. So I have to sit here and thank the SmackDown versus Raw games for influencing my music taste. So, but I know we talked about soundtracks last stream, but yeah. So yeah. So it's it is what it is on some of those. Do I feel like nowadays, I feel like nowadays my rides can be a little bit longer, you know, because if I remember one game, the Myras was really freaking short, and it was like, why is this so short? Like I really wish they would fucking like, I really wish they would expand those more, because it's like one moment you're at wrestling at Survivor Series for the title, next moment you're wrestling at Royal Rumble, and the next moment you're at WrestleMania. It's the end. It's like, really, like this was dumb. Like I think it was 2K24 storyline was really short. Really don't like it very much. Do you think ECW should come back? Um, I honestly don't think it can come back. Honestly, because nothing's really hardcore anymore about pro wrestling these days. Um, yeah, I just don't know. I actually don't think ECW can come back. Like, really. At this point, I really don't think they really should be bringing back Lucha Underground, because, all those guys that were in Lucha Underground are either bigger stars on the main roster, or, you know, even bigger stars, elsewhere, like in AEW, for example. Like Ricochet, Prince Puma, he's in AEW. Swerve Strickland, who was Killshot, he's in AEW. Penta, Rey Mysterio, Phoenix, all three of those guys are in WWE on Raw and SmackDown. So, who are they gonna bring back? Jake Hager? I mean, really? Like, nobody wants to see Jake Hager. You can't bring back Johnny Mundo because he's in AEW. He's in AEW and as Johnny TV or Johnny Wrestling or whatever the fuck the name is called nowadays. Dude's had 50 fucking names. So yeah, I really don't think it can come back, honestly. Would it be cool if it came back? Yeah, but I really don't think at this point in pro wrestling, I really don't think it should come back honestly, because honestly, it most likely be under the WWE banner, and we all seen how the WWE handled its version of ECW. I just don't think we should have to. WWE's version of ECW, I feel like tarnished ECW's legacy because I mean, once it first started, you thought this was gonna. It felt like ECW a little bit. Yeah, it did. Bringing Kurt Angle over to ECW brought a lot to it. But then you brought guys like Bobby Lashley, and, Big Show and Test, and the Boogeyman and Big Daddy V. It completely ruined it. Um, but and I just feel like WWE would just fuck it up again. So yeah, I feel like ECW should just stay. I feel like ECW should just stay gone. Um, Now the one night stand pay per views were fun. Uh, I prefer 2005 over 2006, 2007, 2008, but um, yeah. Yeah, I don't think it can come back, honestly. I don't think it really should. Do I follow NXT here and there? Um, when there's a NXT PLE on, I'll watch it. Um, Both the new people that they debuted in ECW, NXT, guys like Mason Rook and guys like I forgot some of the other ones' name. The Vanity Project, I think those guys suck. Um, there's some good stars in NXT, Lola Vice, uh, Tony D'Angelo. There's some there, um, but I mean they just called up guys like Ethan Page and Ricky Saints, but um, do you really think guys like Mason Rook is gonna fucking or Rook or whatever his name is? Do you really think guys like the guys like that are gonna replace guys like Page and Saints and you know and Obafemi and people like that? No, I really don't think so. But people are already hating on Mason Rook right now. Um, I don't blame him, but is he a big dude that looks really athletic? Yeah. If you seen his last night on NXT, he did a fucking moonsault from the fucking top rope as a big guy. But I've seen big guys do moonsaults all the time, and it really does, nowadays it really don't impress me. You've seen guys like Vader do it. You see guys like Bam Bam Bigelow do it, and you see the Blue Meanie do it. And Hugh Morris do it, and like that. But yeah. Who's the most overrated wrestler in my opinion? Great question. Will Ospreay. I just don't like him. He does this. He does the same moves every match, and it just doesn't excite me whatsoever. Kyle Fletcher, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Ricochet. Yeah, I think all those guys are really fucking overrated. In WWE, I would say Gunther. I really don't like Gunther. I think he sucks. All he does is chops and kicks and stuff like that. I hate it. Um, any other overrated ones in WWE? Um, Roman Reigns is overrated. I feel like. Um, Logan Paul is pretty overrated. Sami Zayn's getting kind of stale. Um, yeah, basically just guys like that I really feel like is overrated nowadays. Um, are there some that's starting to grow on me a little bit? Um, a couple that are starting to grow on me. I would probably have to say Solo Sokoa. He's growing on me a little bit. thoughts on LA Knight? I love LA Knight. He should be world champion. It's fucking sad that he's been off TV for 3 weeks now. It's bullshit. I feel like he should have been world heavyweight champion by now. Um, in reality, I honestly would have rather seen him defeat CM Punk than Roman Reigns. Um, and then we get Knight and Oba at SummerSlam. You know that'd have been pretty good. Which I'm hoping that's their direction is Oba and Roman for SummerSlam, and hope Oba takes the title because I feel like Oba can really do good with that title. Um, Jacob Fatu looks really good with that title. You know, he held it up this Monday on Raw after laying out first family, but I like to see Braun Breaker with the World Heavyweight title. That he could be a dominant fucking champion. Um, I would have loved to see AJ Styles have another run with the title before he retired. Um, Finn Balor, I hope he gets another shot. I hope he gets have another title run. Um, who else would I like to see have the World Heavyweight title? Um, it's kind of hard. I don't know who else I would want to see as World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, I would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura have a proper world title run. He did have the NXT Championship, but I feel like he should have a proper World Heavyweight Championship reign before he retires. There's a lot of guys that I feel like should have another title reign before they retire, or before or before they somehow get fired. Which I'm shocked they didn't release Shinsuke Nakamura, because I really thought he was going to be one of the cuts a few weeks ago when they cut Aleister Black and Kairi Sane and the Motor City Machine Guns. It sucks that they got rid of them. The Wyatt Six. But Apollo Crews finally getting released was shocking. I feel like he would have been I feel like he would have been released years ago, like in 2020 when they fired all those guys. I feel like he would have been one. I feel like he was gonna be one of them. Yeah. So so those are pretty much some of the overrated wrestlers. I think Osprey, Fletcher, Omega, the Bucks, Gunther, Roman. I'm really hyped to see what they do with Royce Keys or Powerhouse Hobbs. Really excited to see what they do with him. I feel like he can be he's gonna be world champion one of these days. Um, People are getting sick and tired of Cody Rhodes as champ. I'm not. I personally love Cody as champ. If you really look at it, he's the new. Cody is the new Cena. I feel like, because with Cena, 1 minute people loved him, next minute people hated him, and and once one side of the crowd was for him and the other side of the crowd wasn't for him. Could I feel like he could drop the world title and have like a U.S. title run, or an IC title run? Yeah, I would really love to see him with the IC title again. That'd be really cool. Could could he have feuds that are not for the world title? Yeah. Um. Um. I really feel like he could have like a I feel like he could have had like a proper feud with The Rock that wasn't about the title or anything. Um. I really kind of wish him and Cena's feud wasn't uh about the title. I kind of feel like the title kind of ruined Cena and Cody. I feel like Cena and Cody could have had like a young veteran versus the old school legend type rivalry. I feel like they could have done something like that with Cena and Cody. but unfortunately they didn't. And Creative fucked up Cena's retirement tour, but in his title reign. But Cena had some good matches during his title reign. His match with Orton at Backlash was good. He had an okay match with CM Punk. The tag match at Money in the Bank when Cena teamed with Paul versus Cody and Jay was stupid. Um, I feel like they only did that tag match was so they can do the return of R-Truth. Um, but then I was glad when Cena turned face after SummerSlam. The best match during Cena's heel run was him and Cody at SummerSlam. Their SummerSlam match is what their WrestleMania match should have been. No Rock, no Travis Scott, just the young veteran versus the old school legend. I feel like could have been the best feud of last year. I think Roman loses the belt at SummerSlam. Yeah, I feel like. Cena, but Cena's hero one was kind of ruined. It was. Um, which is why I was glad he turned face. After the SummerSlam match. His worst match during his run probably would have to be Brock at WrestlePalooza because that was just plain stupid. It was they basically just rehashed SummerSlam 2014, but yeah, yeah. So the best match of Cena's heel run, his last heel run was him and Cody. The best match of Cena's entire retirement tour, him and AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. A lot of people didn't like that match because all it was one finisher right after another. But I mean, at least they didn't use their own finishers. Relentlessly. I thought it was really cool that they used some of their old rivals' finishers, like Cena used like the spear and the choke slam and stuff like that. Um, do I think Cena should have won his last match? No and yes. The no part, I will say, I might not like Gunther, but it did build up Gunther's credibility. He retired John Cena. But then when you gave him, he retired AJ Styles, and then he retired, Goldberg, and then he retired Goldberg first. He retired Goldberg, then he retired Cena, then he retired Styles. Um, I just didn't like it. I'm not a big fan of the career killer, which hopefully they're done with that right now. And the yes part, I feel like it would have gave fans a feel good moment. It would have put a it would have put a fuck what's the word I'm looking for here. It would have gave the fans a good go home happy a good happy go home moment. Their favorite just retired and everyone's leaving with sadness and stuff like that. Um, Thank God he didn't retire Brock. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad they had Oba retire him. Oba was a better pick than Gunther, I have to say. Um, so yeah, it's should have seen him won his last match. No one, yes. Part of me feels like he should have, and part of me feels like him losing was the right call. I didn't watch it live personally because I knew Cena was losing and I really didn't care. Because Cena's retirement tour had already been ruined anyway. He only had like a couple good matches on his retirement tour. He had a couple fantastic matches on the tour, a couple okay matches, and the rest were just terrible. Um, his match at Logan Paul at Clash in Paris was all right. Um, Not a big Logan Paul fan, but I feel like that match is Logan's best match. Uh, I feel like that's Logan's best match to date. I feel like is with him and Cena. I honestly don't think it hit. I don't. I honestly don't think any match is really gonna top that match Logan had. His match for Ricochet at SummerSlam was terrible. His feud with Randy could have been better. Yeah. Mostly with Cena and Orton's last rivalry, I feel like Orton was just laying out Cena every week. It's like I feel like Cena should have been laying out Orton a couple times here and there. Is it Orton Cena's best match in their entire rivalry? No. Did they have way better matches? Absolutely. But yeah, his feud with Randy could have been way better. Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So also, I feel like I'm not really a big Logan Paul supporter. Honestly, I just think the dude sucks. Honestly, you know, do you can you think he's good in the ring? Yeah. You know, am I gonna bash you for saying he's good in the ring? No. You know, to teach his own. If you like him in the ring, you like him in the ring. If you don't, you don't. As a professional, like on TV, he's a good fucking heel. He can get the fucking crowd to fucking hate his fucking guts. But the person Logan Paul, I couldn't give a crap about. But the on-screen Logan Paul, still don't I don't like him, but he's a good heel magnet. That's the same with Dominic Mysterio, another good heel magnet. But I'm just Logan Paul's not one of my favorite wrestlers. I know wrestling kid wrestling fans nowadays are fans of him. I'm personally not. I'm not personally a fan of I think his prime drink is god awful. I've had a couple flavors and it was I didn't like it. Yeah, so I'm not really a big Logan Paul fan, honestly. I just feel like during his matches, it's not him that makes the match look good. I feel like it's other people's. I hate when people, dude. I hate fuck. Well, the Roman Reigns fan base is the most toxic fan base in wrestling today. Now, people who really like Roman and don't. I hate it when people sit there and think he's God's gift to a wrestling ring when he's not. His matches nowadays are boring. He has to be put in there with someone good like CM Punk or like Rollins to actually have a really good match. I feel like him and Braun Breaker could tear it up. I feel like that would be a fucking banger match. I feel like, which during Roman's title run, I really hope they do Roman and Breaker. I personally would love to see at MSG in July at Saturday Night's main event. I personally would love to see either Roman and Braun for the title, or I would love to see a triple threat between Roman, Seth, and Braun for the title. I feel like one of those two matches could be banger matches. Yeah, so Roman's fan base, I fucking hate it. Like, anything, like, if TV ratings are down, if a match isn't good, if uh if the storyline isn't good, people blame people don't put the blame on Roman. People put the blame on the other person. Like yeah, it's stupid. I hate it when people are really one way with Roman Reigns versus another person. Like people who call him the GOAT, he's not. I just feel like that's why I feel like he's overrated in some points because the Roman fan base, because if you make one slight comment about Roman, his fans come and they fucking defend him. Oh, Roman Reigns. When some person says, Well, why isn't Roman Reigns defending his title on TV when he should be? And then you have a Roman fan coming in and being like, Roman Reigns is too good. He don't have to wrestle on TV every week. Like now, CM Punk hasn't been on TV and Roman has been. And and Roman's fans are going like, "Oh, CM Punk is part timer. Roman Reigns is full timer." How they like to turn? They like to turn the narrative. They'll sit there and they'll bash, everybody else when it comes to people like Cody and Punk. They'll bash them, but they'll defend Roman on anything. Fuck, Roman Reigns can have a match with a fucking cockroach, and people will say that it was the greatest match of all time. So yeah, so not really a big fan of Roman Reigns. I used to be, you know, if I feel like this is the biggest fucking unpopular opinion that I could really have. Honestly, I love Big Dog Roman. Yeah, I said it. I I really don't care for this new version of Roman Reigns, honestly. And how people like to go, and with your comment, people like to go sit there and fucking be like, oh, Roman Reigns is the GOAT. Roman Reigns is this. Roman Reigns is that. How can you be the GOAT when half your fucking career nobody wanted you? From from Roman Reigns from 2015 all the way to 2019, or all the way, I want to say 2019, all the way to like 2018, beginning of 2019. Nobody fucking wanted Roman Reigns. Nobody fucking liked Roman Reigns. But now all of a sudden, oh, since he's this big bad guy now, oh, he's the greatest of all time. No. Is has he defined the 2020s? Yeah. Is he the biggest star to come out of the 2020s? Without a doubt, yeah. Is he the biggest draw of the 2020s? Yeah. Um, is every Roman Reigns, match great? No. Is every Roman Reigns feud great? No. Um, it's they'll just say Roman Reigns is great on anything. It doesn't matter what it is. As a dream match between Benoit versus Roman or Eddie versus Rollins. I'd love to see Eddie versus Rollins or Benoit versus Rollins. Um, I feel like if a match between Benoit and Roman did happen, I feel like Benoit would carry the match. Honestly, yeah. Um, but honestly, I would rather I'd my a good I would rather see like Eddie versus Rollins or Benoit versus Rollins. Honestly, is what I'd rather like to see because honestly, when it comes to Roman Reigns, there really isn't any dream matches that I really want to see with Roman Reigns at this point. I know people would be like, "Oh, him and Braun Breaker," or him and Kenny Omega, but it's just not. Sucks we never got Eddie versus Shawn. Absolutely. Um, there was a rumor that was rumored for WrestleMania 22, but Bruce Pritchard had said before that was the plan. That was just an idea that they had, but I really wish they did do it. Um, because rumor is that their feud was supposed to start at Survivor Series 05. I feel like that's when their feud was supposed to kick off. Um, I didn't like the Michaels and the McMahon storyline. I thought that was stupid. Did it pick up a little bit when they reunited DX? Yeah. Did it make for some funny fucking segments and funny moments in the matches? Yeah. Like when they shoved Vince's head up the Big Show's ass. That was fucking hilarious. The Vince McMahon kiss my ass club was stupid. Yeah. So that would have been a banger match. That is definitely a dream match. But yeah. So um so uh Horror Fanatic, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end this live stream. Um I'm gonna try and do this again tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to start earlier than what I did. I would have, I was on earlier, and I would have stayed, a good while, and I would have, probably had more people in the chat room, but you know, people, some guy was fucking complaining because I didn't have it on the tripod, because no, from the beginning I was just gonna lay here in my bed and just use my and just hold it in my hand to do it. But some guy was bitching because I wasn't on a tripod. 'Cause apparently, I was shaking too much, and he was getting nauseous because they were shaking too much. But I ended it and put it on a tripod, and the dude never came back. So you have a great rest of your night too, man. And I will see you tomorrow. And it is always good chatting with you guys. I really love chatting, doing these live streams and chatting with you guys and answering your questions and answering, your opinions and all this other stuff. And hopefully tomorrow we can get, a good amount of people in the chat room and I can talk to, a few other people and stuff like that. So, and if you know anybody that, if you know any, if you know anybody, get the word out that, I like that I'm doing these live streams, If you got any friends that like wrestling and they watch wrestling YouTube channels like you, I'd be, tell them to come on over, It's just if you know anybody, just, because my the it's I do this for people like you. I do this for people like Tommy from Wrestling Rampage. I do this for people like my grandma who likes to come in and join every now and then and chat with us. Hopefully we can get her in tomorrow night. Maybe she can chat with us a little bit. So yeah, so I do this for people like you, and not for people who just want to come on here and ask dumb fucking questions. Like fucking like when I first got on here, a bunch of people asking me about some box. I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. So most of them are just trolls anyway that just like to come on people's live streams and just fucking act a fool because they think they're funny when they're not. So yeah, I would try to be back on here really early tomorrow. Maybe I can gun for a afternoon live stream because I feel like in the afternoon probably can get more people in here. I feel like more people are more active on. I feel like more people are more active, in during the day than they are at night. It's usually why I don't get usually that many views at night because people aren't on it during the night. People have jobs and they go to work and stuff like that, and they don't have time to stay up just to listen to me talk about something. But yeah. So, Horror Fanatic, Freddy, you have a good night. I will see you tomorrow, and just want to thank everyone that joined, and for the people who came on here just to put stupid little comments, right there's to you. Fuck off. But people like you, Horror Fanatic, thank you. And I will see you tomorrow.